Is what it is. I don't know.
About to find out.
We're about to find out.
Because we're going to kick it.
Ooh. Got it.
Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. This is your host, Chet Sears, and with me goofing around is Troy, Three-Shot Trussell, and Matt Amos. We're so glad you're with us.
Yes.
What a fun time of year. We're going to talk about the wonderful holiday of Thanksgiving today a little bit.
Because it's Thanksgiving.
And we're going to talk about the top 3 Thanksgiving foods.
Oh, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
And then Troy's going to have a good word.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But Matt, you're going to give us the framework to think about what's on our mind right now with this wonderful holiday.
Well, you know, it is Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Turkey Day.
And I'm just really thankful for some things that have happened of late. One of them being getting back from Montana and having some warriors up that absolutely slayed some elk and processed it, turned it into some really good eats, as Chet knows. And he knows about the summer sausage. He even texted me and said, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Is that the terminology?
Where's my
used?
log of summer sausage?
You give me a freezer and I will give you some meat.
Hey, you remember?
Chet needs to give me a freezer.
You remember that freezer? You remember that little freezer I was thinking about giving to you?
Yeah, you gave it to somebody else?
Traded it.
Oh.
Yeah. I traded it for some meat.
So you got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally,
He traded. We traded.
I literally pulled into town. Like I'd driven from Montana to, what is that? Lyman, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I'd been debating spending the night, but I was like, I might just go ahead and push. Ended up, nature was calling. I was like, I'm going to get a room, get some food, ate, slept.
Did you sleep in a Best Western and get Domino's?
No, I slept in a Holiday Inn, but it was already.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is Holiday Inn
Express. But I got there too late for Domino's.
Yeah.
And I don't think Lyman even has a Domino's.
Lyman doesn't have much.
They have more than I thought
Yeah.
with those hotels right there. It was a pretty nice little setup. But then the next morning, I finished the last, I think it's 7 hours from there maybe, because it's an hour to Lyman from Denver, something like that.
Yeah.
And I pull right into town, get to my house, pull out the meat, open it up, and I'm like, oh, it's already starting to thaw a little bit. Open up my freezers, completely full, like zero room whatsoever. And I'm like, I don't have room for this. And the thing was, the guy whose summer sausage it was that we made it for, it was his elk. He left camp and left all of his summer sausage in the freezer. And Chase was like, I don't have room for this. I can't keep it here. I'm getting ready to butcher a steer. Chase is the landowner. He was like, so it needs to get out of here. And I was like, well, I have that cooler that I brought all the meat down in. So I'll just throw that in there and I'll try to find a space for it when I get home. Well, there was no room. And so I was like, I'm looking online for a freezer.
There's
and so
shortage.
They had some, but not exactly what I wanted, and what I wanted won't be until March. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
I was like, so the meat's not going to last till March sitting here in the garage in a igloo. So I was like, hey, Chet, do you have any extra room in your freezer? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, well, or I have a freezer you can have. And I was like, how about we trade?
Yeah.
So we made a little meat trade.
We made a meat trade, which is really cool because, trading, that's just cool. No cash exchanged. And then later that day, I'm at a deal. One of the things that we're wanting to do at our deer camp is get an outdoor stove. So instead of having like a fire pit, especially during deer season because you get all smoke smelly and all that kind of stuff, we just want to have some heat where we could sit outside and eat and whatever else, but then pipe the smoke away. And so we had this idea, let's just get this stove. And then there's like this old tank or something around there. And Jeremy's like, well, I got a buddy of mine that can, cut that thing up and make us like a stove out of that, and that way we don't have to go buy one. Cause I was looking on like Marketplace or whatever. And that night bump into his friend, and, I'm like, oh man, has Jeremy talked to you yet about this, the night that, traded, Matt for the freezer? And, I said, did Jeremy talk to you yet about, cutting this thing up with your plasma, whatever, and, doing some welding for us? And he's like, for what? And I'm like, well, we want to make this stove for our deer camp. He's like, I have an old wood burning stove, but it's got like a little crack in the back of it. And it would only be useful if you used it outside, cause you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide. I'm like, that's exactly what we need. He's like, well, heck, I don't need it. You could just, come pick it up. And I'm like, I don't feel good about just taking some. How about I trade you some meat for it? He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I got some ground bison. I'll trade you for that. And he's like, oh, that'd be awesome. So I made 2 meat trades in one day. A record for me.
It's like the new currency.
Yeah.
Elk meat.
Elk. Well, I don't even think I traded you elk other than the summer sausage. You got alligator,
gator.
You got bighorn sheep roast.
Yes, a bighorn sheep roast.
Wow.
Elk summer sausage.
Elk summer sausage.
There's one other thing in there that
pork.
Oh yeah. Breakfast sausage.
And there should have been a pork loin from a wild hog.
Oh,
in the white package.
Okay.
But
I'm game. Wild game.
Hang on, I'm texting my sister right now when she cooks that sheep roast to invite me over.
I cook wild game in our house, unless it's ground.
Well,
so
Ashley doesn't cook roast either.
Hannah doesn't like roast either.
I didn't say Ashley doesn't like it. She just doesn't cook it.
Oh, Hannah doesn't even like it.
Yeah.
So I eat it all.
Being that, Thanksgiving is upon us, and
did you say up on us or upon us?
Upon us.
Upon us. Because come at me, Thanksgiving. He's all up on me.
I'm getting ready to shoot it. And I didn't have much success in the way of turkey this year, because normally I would have a wild bird that we would be able to cook. That did not happen. And while we were in Montana, this was like my first time ever actually just like cooking for everybody for the whole thing. Cause I was just like, well, I'm going to come up. I'm not going to hunt. I just want to help out. Well, what can you do? And I was like, I can cook. I was like, are you sure? And everybody kind of doubts, they look at me and they're like, maybe not, you know? And so, blew them away with my cooking skills, but I also learned some in the process. And one of the dishes that was made was called carpaccio. And what you do with carpaccio is you take an elk tenderloin or venison tenderloin, but it's a red meat, whatever it is, tenderloin, slice it, freeze it a little bit, slice it extremely thin.
The freezing allows you to slice it?
Yeah, allows you to slice it real thin. So you don't want it completely frozen, but you just
define real thin, like pencil thin or like
almost like bruschetta thin. You know what bruschetta is?
That's some bread.
What am I thinking of?
Yeah, bruschetta is like the crispy bread with a tomato.
What's the
mozzarella and the
but what's the meat?
Oh, prosciutto.
Prosciutto. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so that thin is how you want it. And then what you do is you put a layer of lime juice on the bottom. Set the I'm sorry. Once you have it sliced real thin, set it in buttermilk overnight. Next day, pull it out. Buttermilk and baking soda. And baking soda breaks it down, makes it real tender. Same thing that you would do with the gator. So I would soak it the night before with just in water and baking soda, breaks down that muscle tissue, and then soak it for at least 8 hours in Italian dressing before you fry it. And you'll have something that's almost as flaky as catfish. And so on this carpaccio, once you've soaked it in buttermilk and the baking soda overnight, pull it out, put squeeze half of I think it's half a lime on the bottom of the plate, lay out a single layer of the sliced tenderloin. And then over the top of that, you put balsamic vinegar, more lime juice, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and then top it with green onions, shaved Parmesan cheese, and capers, which I never in my life, I didn't know what a caper was. I mean, I'd had it on steak, but I just thought, I didn't really know what it was. And it's funny because the guy who's teaching the recipe, he was the same way. It's Kevin.
Yeah.
Was the guy that's teaching me this. And he goes, they laughed at me too. He goes, don't worry about it. He goes, the first time I saw it, I go, how do you do these pickled peas? That's what he's calling them, pickled peas. So, but we get the capers, put it on top. And I'm not a sushi guy. I do not like sushi. I've tried it all, just not my thing. And so I didn't know how well this was going to go over with me. But I tried it with some convincing and
good stuff.
Really good. Yeah. I was literally surprised. We didn't even have the good crackers, that come in the box. We had the ones that come in like the plastic wrapper, and we're eating it on the cracker. It was really good. And so that's one that I'm going to try. I know that nobody is going to want to try it, for Thanksgiving.
I'll try it,
but my wife and kids will eat it, but I don't think any of my in-laws or my folks are going to want it. But super good recipe, super easy as well to try to do. And so this year I think I'm switching it up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go with the traditional turkey, because looking back, I think every time that I've had turkey, the last 3 times I've gotten violently ill. So I think I'm done with turkey. And I think this year I'm going to do brisket and pulled pork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Because I'll be using your pork butt recipe.
Mm-hmm.
The only question I have for you on that though is so you've got the California tri-tip.
Yep.
Seasoning. And then you have the Yardbird.
Yep.
Seasoning. So do you add the Yardbird
first?
Coat it. And then put
let that tack.
Yep.
And then go back with the California tri-tip.
Okay.
And that's not a coating. That's
those light. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because the problem I had with that
medium depends on the size of your pork butt.
Well, the problem I had with it was when I wrapped it. Now it came out great. I mean, it was really, really good, but that Yardbird wanted to stick to the aluminum foil when I peeled it back.
Never had that happen.
No.
It's
almost like there was a glaze that it almost just like, and it could have been fat that just melted to the whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on how much I trim.
Well, and I did too on that one.
Fat off. Yeah,
I trimmed it to where there was nothing left, but could have been just me.
I have a really good brisket recipe too. If you need any help there,
I might, and more of that is just probably the right size.
Yeah,
because I don't think the bigger ones do as well as a kind of a medium size one.
I think I've gotten to where, because like my last 2 have been home runs, but it's the opposite of pork. Like pork is a time, temperature, do this, this, and this, and
brisket's a feel.
Brisket is does it look? How does it look? And then then once you get the bark, how you want it to look, and then I wrap it, and then it's pull it when it feels a certain way, which doesn't have anything to do with temperature. So
it's just a science of pushing your probe in, and it should just slide right in, right?
Like going through hot butter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you know you have a tender brisket.
The problem I have with that and Thanksgiving is it's not like I did brisket for Christmas last year.
Yeah.
And Ashley's like, when's it going to be ready? I'm like, whenever it's ready. Like it tells me when it's ready. I don't tell it when it's ready.
Hey, that's how it is at my house every year.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you that we're going to eat at 7. It might be 9.
Yeah.
We never know. We're at the mercy of the food.
But we do like a middle of the day deal. So I'm like, at what point in time at the night, the day before, do I put it on to where I could try to get it ready to pull off at a certain time? And I think it turned out great. It was one of my better ones.
Oh,
but
I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's a little for family meals. I think I'm done with that. But I could tell you right now, spatchcock, smoked turkey, love it. Love it. And actually, the sauce from All Things Barbecue, they've got a video on how to walk through that. Just cut that backbone out of that joker, open that thing up, and you can smoke that a couple hours, 3 hours after you brine it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'll tell you that smoked turkey. I'm a fried turkey guy most of the time, but I'm digging this smoked turkey business.
Well, and speaking of timing, of course, that smoker that we were using was the Yoder 1500, big one. And so it was kind of weird because I put the smaller one on the right side further away from the heat source because I figured that one was going to cook way quicker, and then put the big one closer to the heat source. And
it was the opposite.
It was the opposite because it's so big that right side just wasn't heating as well. And then the top doesn't heat, which was surprising to me. It doesn't heat as fast, because the heat rises. And so you would think that it would be pretty consistent on the left-hand side, but that's the one thing that
that deflector plate does a really good job of not, the cooler part of my smoker's on the left side and the hotter part's away from the heat source because that's where it exits.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it came out, but I took 2 of them and I started at 9:00 the previous night because I was like, I'm going to try to aim this for 4-ish. And it finished up at 8. So 23 hours.
Oh my God.
Is how long that thing cooked. And I thought I was so far ahead of the game. I was like, we'll have this for lunch tomorrow. It's going to be great. And then we'll have a real big lunch and do everything. And then we'll celebrate with some sandwiches, some pulled pork sandwiches at night, just make it real easy. Nope. Nope. That's what we had for dinner, but it was really good. It was really, really good. And then do you know the favorite dish, the overwhelming majority favorite dish as far as a main meal? Like the carpaccio went over really well. But that's more of an appetizer.
Yeah.
What dish do you think was everybody's favorite dish on that trip? Now I
already know the answer, so I can't tell you.
Oh yeah,
I was shocked.
I did tell you.
I was shocked.
I did tell you.
I don't know what all you had.
So I made Creole one night. I had a Cajun in camp who was actually impressed with my Creole. We did spaghetti one night. We did steaks. We did, what else did I make? The pulled pork, the Creole, and Mexican chicken.
Was it the Creole?
Nope. Although it did get rave reviews.
Yeah.
And even that passed the Cajun's sniff test. He was like, dude, authentic. And I was like, thanks. Everybody's favorite dish was my mom's Mexican chicken casserole.
Well, yeah, you've talked about this before.
Yeah, brought it up.
Oh,
have you had it yet?
No.
Good, because I was going to be really upset that you're getting everything.
But don't act like you're getting upset at me. He's the one doing it.
Now, see, if you were
just go buy a freezer and give him a freezer, and you'll get some Mexican.
Hey, bring me a freezer. I'll get you some Mexican chicken. But what's funny is, you got all these guys that are there, and most of them were special operators. And for the most simple dish that I cooked all week to be the favorite was pretty awesome. And so I had to text my mom. I was like, hey, just so you know, your Mexican chicken casserole was a fan favorite. Like it was everybody's favorite meal of the week. And she's like, oh, really? She's like, Grandma would be really happy about that because she's the one that gave it to me back in like the 60s. And I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I thought you got that off of the back of a Doritos bag, like when I was a kid. And she goes, no.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy cow. But that was super good. It was proven. And even the guy that was lactose intolerant, he's like, oh, I got to try that.
I'm gonna risk it, boys.
And I was like, so well, when he, because
make way to the bathroom.
All right.
Taking a risk.
Well, I had, because we take into consideration everybody's dietary needs,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I had some extra stuff for him, and I was like, I can cook this up for you. And he goes, no, I think I'm going to try that. I go, what? Are you actually lactose intolerant? You've been messing with me this whole time. And he goes, well, I pick and choose what I'm going to eat. He goes, I'm picking to eat that one. And I was like, or I'm choosing to eat that one. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. As far as he wasn't driving home the next day. So, and he'd already tagged out. Like this dude shows up into camp, never hunted elk before, kills a bull in the morning, cow in the afternoon, tagged out in one day. And everybody's all these hardcore hunters in camp.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, that's like the unicorn of elk hunting. Nobody gets to do that.
He doesn't believe it. He's like,
and he's just like, yeah. It's kind of like we had Josh on the podcast, and Josh went on a deer hunt outside of WWO. Like he paid some money to go on a deer hunt, and he's like, well, it's just so different, man. I was like, well, the places that WWO goes where
top tier,
these people just they're the best at what they do, and so. He's texting me as he's in his deer camp and he's like, yeah, he goes, I didn't see anything today. Didn't see anything today. About day 3, like mid-afternoon, I was like, did you see anything this morning? He goes, no. Are you getting ready to go back out for tonight? He goes, no, I went home to grab some good coffee and some warmer clothes. And he goes, I'm going to go back. And then he got back and didn't see anything. And he's like, I'm out of here, and just left. And I was like, dang.
He missed his bidet.
He probably did miss his bidet, but he was not having a real good time on that hunt. But hopefully he'll find some success here.
Oh yeah,
at some point this season. But,
so growing up, Thanksgiving a big deal or not a big deal?
We always went over to grandparents' house, and so we would all. They were always pretty big deal.
Yeah,
lots of people. And, even when we were in the military, we'd try to get home for Thanksgiving. Wow. I think there was a couple of times we weren't able to make it home. And so we would do it there, wherever I was stationed. I know I was deployed for one Thanksgiving, and then, same with Christmas too. It's always a big family ordeal.
Tell me about your family's Thanksgiving.
Oh, always a big deal. So my dad's mom lived about an hour away in Lodi, Texas, out in the middle of nowhere. She was a cattle rancher, and she would have her 2 sons and their families.
And bigger than that, too.
Yeah, and well, that's how it started.
Yeah.
When I was really young, it was just us.
Yeah, and
those
then Rick
2
and
families.
Roz, and
yeah, and then just more extended families started coming, and every year, and it just got bigger and bigger. And I guess probably 30, 35 people there.
Or more, yeah.
Or more, yeah. And and you had to be there. Like Granny laid down the law, and if you weren't there, you got reprimanded the next year.
Like it came, I don't know how far in the relationship I was with your sister when it was like, hey, I'm just concerned about, well, that way our listeners know that I'm married to Troy's sister. And
it always just sounds like a slam every time. I don't know how far I was along in that relationship with your sister.
Anyway, but it came
every
up.
time he says it.
It came up like, I don't know what your family does for Thanksgiving, but I can't do it. Like, I have to be at my dad's mom's house, my granny's house.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving, or else there's major consequences. Like so hopefully your family doesn't have the same scenario, right? Because we're never going to be together on Thanksgiving. Like it was a major deal.
Yeah, and I skipped one time.
Yeah. You skipped the time that the oven broke.
Yeah, and I was glad I skipped.
Yeah,
but I think the oven breaking saved me because Granny was so worried about that.
Yeah.
So she didn't notice that I was gone.
Troy scored tickets to the Cowboys game, and Dallas Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving. And So he's like, yeah, I'm not, I got tickets. And we're like, you what? Like, you're not going to be there? I think that was my first one. I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Relatively.
But my other saving grace was the Cowboys were her favorite team.
Yeah.
So,
but
if I was going anywhere, that's where you.
The strategy going in though was we're just not going to mention that Troy's not here. Like, we're going to see if she happens to notice it. Because, you know, it's a relatively small house. There's everybody's in the rooms everywhere and everybody's outside. There's just people everywhere. She's putting on the meal and maybe she won't notice that she hasn't seen Troy. So everybody just keep your mouth shut. Nobody can ask, where's Troy? Just be quiet. And it took hours before she realized it, and then like, oh, and she's like, oh, he's watching my boys play or something like that. But the oven, this is a hilarious thing, was the oven broke. Stove didn't break, but the oven quit working. It was a range, you know, and I don't know what was going on. People had it pulled out from the wall. I'm not like in the family yet, you know. I'm just like the Ashley's other person, and so I'm just there, you know, like, what can I do to help? You know, I'm not going to jump in with the uncles and try to fix an oven, but the stress level is like, boom, like straight up, because she didn't know the oven wasn't working. The turkey has not been cooking. We're running into some issues. And, so I'm like standing around, not in the way, but just like, is there any opportunity that I would have here?
Figures, standing around.
Yeah. And she's like, can somebody go get me? I've got a roasting pan in the shed behind the whatever. And I'm like, I'll do that. You know, I can go get something. So I went running out there, found the shed, huge roasting pan. You know, she's like, I'm going to put the turkey in the roasting pan, and I'm going to put some water in there, and I'm going to put these things on the burner, and it's going to, you know. So I come back with the roasting pan to just let everybody know about the issue of the dirt daubers have claimed the roasting pan in this shed that had no door on it. And it was coated inside and outside, just dirt everywhere. And I just like, hey, is this the pan that you want? And she's like, oh my gosh, somebody clean the inside of that out. You know, and I'm like, okay. And I go out to the hose and I start, you know, scraping and wiping mud away. And I get the thing as pristine as you can get, lid and all. On the inside, but she was specific. Just clean the inside. We don't have time for the outside. So I bring back this very clean roasting pan on the inside that's got pine straw and dirt all on the outside. And they're like, Granny, you know, we got to clean. We don't have time for this. She's, you know, it's way up there. We don't have time to clean that. You know, so she turns all the burners on top of the stove. And on high, throws the turkey in there, pours water on it, and does some other stuff, puts the lid on it, and sets it on top of the stove. The outside of the pot catches on fire because of all the debris.
Right. I was waiting for that, actually.
We have flames and smoke, and somebody was like, Granny, we can't let that. And she's like, let the damn thing burn. You know, it's just yelling. And I knew I had arrived. I said, we are now at a family event with my new family, and this is going to be talked about forever because Granny cussed, and it was stressful. And I think Buck or somebody like actually did something and fixed the oven, and everything was saved. But it was very touch and go there for a moment.
Was that Uncle Buck?
Yeah, that's my Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck Saves Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's a movie.
There you go.
But me growing up in military family, we didn't have any family in the state, you know, wherever we were. So we would go out for Thanksgiving, or like eat at a restaurant somewhere, or have a fish fry. Nothing.
Oh yeah.
Nothing traditional. Like, it was just the four of us, and had a good time. It was kind of neat. So.
Yep, I kind of broke that tradition when I joined the military.
Yeah,
it was like, how, you know, and so it was always stressful, you know, trying to pack up everything, come back home for that, you know, and then, oh, we're gonna come back for Christmas too. So,
yeah, you just gotta, I don't know, do your own thing, man.
We do now. I was like, I've been coming to y'all for the last 10 years from California.
Right.
Guess what? I'm retired now. Y'all are coming to the house.
Yep.
You can drive the 30 minutes, 45 minutes to the house. So we host everything at the house now, and we try to work through it the best we can. So I brought the idea of the non-traditional, not doing a turkey, because I was just like, we've done it every year. It's kind of done,
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the one time a year that we even have turkey, and then we have it all left over because nobody really eats all of it.
Right.
I go, everybody's going to eat all that brisket. Everybody's going to eat all that pulled pork. I was like, let's just do.
Have you seen brisket prices?
Yeah. Yep. That's the hit I'm willing to take, just so I don't have another violent puking.
Yeah, that's true.
Bathroom time.
We're going to talk about this in our top 3, but man, I could eat a Thanksgiving meal without the protein.
Oh yeah.
Like
Easy.
all the sides, cook the turkey. Y'all could eat the turkey. There's plenty enough here for me.
Oh yeah. And that's what I'll do, cause again, I know that I'm basically going to be one of the only one that really eats it, other than my family. But I've got, summer sausage from Nil Guy made up. I'll slice that and, get some cheese and slice the cheese up, put all that out on a nice little appetizer tray. This year I'm going to add to it and put the carpaccio out there with the appetizer tray, and just see how that goes over. I think
You'll have to report back.
Yeah, I think my wife and kids are probably going to be the only one that really eats it, just because a lot of people get weirded out by.
Fine. Get weirded out. Let me eat the good stuff.
Raw,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's technically cooked
In acid.
but so we'll see.
All right.
But yeah, I don't want to give too much away because I want to get to the top 3 and talk about.
Well, let's do that after we take this break to hear from our sponsor. "1783, the first victory. Victorious in war, this year sees America earn her independence. At Admiral's Pennant, we celebrate victories at the end of war. 1783 is the first of many such celebrations in our nation's history. This is an elegantly refined blend of sandalwood, cedar, and tea tree. The subtle, lingering, woody scent of the sandalwood, light cedar, and the top notes of tea tree is the essence of masculinity, honoring the men who fought and continue to fight to provide us our independence."
Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave. And we're back.
I got him.
Oh, I saw him wanting to
Gave
do
you
it.
the head fake. All right, top 3 Thanksgiving foods. Troy, we're going to let you lead off with your top 3.
All right.
No honorable mentions.
I don't have any honorable mentions. I only have
Knows what he likes.
my favorite top 3. Number 3, green bean bundles.
Ooh, wrapped in bacon?
Wrapped in bacon, cooked with brown sugar and butter and whatever else my sister makes them with, but they are delicious. And I could probably eat the whole tray. And that could be my meal.
Now, does she sprinkle brown sugar?
Yeah, it's cooked with brown sugar. I don't know if she
top.
sprinkles on it. but
That's all absorbed. Like it all.
yeah, it's not
renders.
sprinkled on top. It's like in the
You
bean.
take.
Well, right, but when you bake it,
Right, yeah.
No. So it's better than that. You take the butter and the brown sugar based on the portions of whatever you're cooking. You heat the butter. Then you pour the brown sugar into the butter and you stir that up where it's a sauce.
Yeah, it's like
And then
honey.
you pour that sauce
over the top. Yeah.
over the,
Delicious.
See, I like mine because I did make those for the guys on steak night. So we had green bean bundles. I did a shrimp boil.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. In aluminum foil. It was. Now,
You cook shrimp in aluminum foil.
however you want to say it.
Chet's boiling right now.
But that was one of the things that I think I showed it to you before I left. I was like, I really want to try this. And all you do is, there's a lot of butter, but you stick the butter in there and then put a little andouille sausage.
Yeah, we do that at home on the grill.
Yeah.
Yeah, just little foil packets.
Yeah.
Just fill it up with
And
whatever
I was
you
like,
want. Throw some butter in there, and yeah,
little Old Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then so
Not a boil.
we had that with
No,
the steak,
not a boil.
with the steak, and then the bacon wrapped green beans.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Bundles. They're bundles. It's not bacon wrapped green beans. Green bean bundles.
Whatever, we call them bacon wrapped green beans, but super good. I love it. I don't do the brown sugar because again, I don't like sweet and meat. They just, for me, they don't mix. So
yeah. I do not like bacon wrapped dates. Have y'all ever had those?
I've never even heard of such a thing.
I've kind of made it a life goal to stay away from dates.
Yeah, it's
Like I've got no need for dates.
it's one of those hors d'oeuvres that's like, I guess, really fancy because at a lot of weddings they'll pass those. Or like
Ever since that
I don't dig them, dude. I have never swallowed one. I'll say that.
Indiana Jones, when he was eating the date and that monkey is poisoned.
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from this. That's how assassins poison archaeologists.
And monkeys.
And I don't have a monkey to taste my food before I eat it.
How many people are using the bathroom after eating a date? Because isn't that something you take to be
Those are prunes.
Oh, prunes.
But isn't a date a dried prune?
No.
What's a date?
The date is its own fruit.
Is it?
Yeah, a prune is a dried plum.
I don't know.
Whatever. Okay.
We need a professional chef on the show maybe to help us out.
Or just somebody with Google.
We don't have one of those.
No.
Yeah. All right, number 2, deviled eggs.
Oh, yes. That should have made my list, and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my absolute favorite.
Oh, I could eat 5.
Well, actually, they're not my favorite because they're number 2, but they're gotta have them. And over the past probably 10 years, I've been in charge of making them for everyone. So
You know why?
because my Aunt Charlotte passed away.
No.
Why?
Because that it wasn't immediately, Troy, you have to take this over.
That's true.
It was because whoever else made them would, naturally all the food shows up before it's time to eat, right? Well, Troy would be in the fridge eating all of the deviled eggs.
It's true.
So then when it was time, like, oh, let's make the buffet so everybody come and eat, half the eggs were gone and there wasn't enough to go around everywhere. And it was Troy's fault. So they were like, Troy, you're making the eggs now. So what he does is he makes enough for everybody and some for him to eat.
Like a personal stash.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And in the personal
it works out
stash.
because there's plenty. He brings plenty.
Yeah.
And he's full of eggs before he shows up.
Well, and now in the personal stash, I'll do like some different hot sauces, and I'll try like putting jalapenos and onions and stuff in some, and I'll make the traditional, and then I try to mix it up with different flavors for me.
Let me tell you, Brookshire's grocery store, Brookshire's.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Deviled egg potato salad.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not just at Brookshire's, but
Walmart
I
has it.
recently had some. Fantastic.
Good stuff.
I do like that.
Love deviled eggs.
So why is it that like if I have just like hard boiled eggs, I max out at about 3 before I'm just like, I just can't eat anymore.
But when they're deviled,
I can have like 1,000.
right?
What sense does that make?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like something that you mix in with the yolk.
They're creamy. It's the
consistency is
yeah.
I don't know. It breaks down faster maybe in your gut. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I don't know. Just a boiled egg yolk it gets chalky. It's like,
Oh yeah.
So it's that extra stuff, the magic that you put in there.
Yeah, makes them good.
Yeah.
All right, number 1, cheese grits.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
They are so good. My mom has made them for years for Christmas, and now I may make her make them for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Fantastic.
She shared the recipe. I can't do it like she does it. They're just phenomenal. I could sit there and eat the whole bowl of that as well.
So, but to my point earlier, just based on your top 3, not even mine, if you were to put up 4 dishes, turkey, cheese grits, green bean bundles, and deviled eggs, and say you can only pick 3.
See ya, turkey.
Yeah.
Get out.
I could do that easy.
Yep.
Yeah. It's my top 3. I love them all.
It's a good top 3.
It was hard to put them in a number order because they're all 3 so good.
I had the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we recorded this before Thanksgiving Day, but it releases on Thanksgiving Day. And Troy, that's what you're eating right now.
Right
If
now.
you're listening to this on Thanksgiving Day, Troy's eating deviled eggs, cheese grits, and green bean bundles.
That's right.
What kind of grits?
Cheese grits.
Cheese.
Specific type of grit though.
Oh, probably Quaker.
Oh,
Yeah.
instant grits.
No.
Not instant. No.
Oh, okay.
Quaker has instant grits and Quaker has grits. They're normal grits.
Yep.
But South Carolina has the stone ground grits.
Yes.
Those are
the best.
yeah.
That's what I use for because Kevin will bring those for me whenever we see each other, and he's like, "Oh, you need some more grits," and so he'll bring me those stone cut grits, and then
They're good.
I like to put a country ham and slice up little pieces and put them in there. So ham and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Oh,
Are
now we're
the
I'm getting hungry.
best. Yes.
All right, I'll go. Then I'll let you go, Matt. Number 3, green bean bundles.
Nice.
And the secret to this, ladies and gentlemen, is you get the whole green beans. You don't get the cut green beans in the can.
Yeah, you got to get the whole ones so they'll wrap in a
That
bundle.
makes the good bundle, good size bundle there. I have graduated into I could be the bundle maker for this recipe for my wife when I try to help out. So, I've wrapped bundles quite a bit. Number 2, I'm going with turkey, but it's a smoked turkey that has been brined, injected, and then there's a special. So the same people that make the Yardbird have a seasoning called Fin and Feather.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I'm telling you, oh my gosh, fantastic. And then it's smoked, it's spatchcocked, and you know what I'm talking about on spatchcock. You flatten that thing out, you cut the backbone out of the turkey, and you flatten that thing all the way out. So it's not this big ball. It's actually
Flat.
Well, the turkey breast cooks at the same, basically the same time as the thighs and leg because it's all got access to the heat and nothing's protected. Man, I love it. And I don't know. Sometimes you work at something it took me a while to get to brisket. It took me a little while to get to the pork. Then I'm just like, man, this is really good. I mean, the first time I followed these instructions on this turkey, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'll fry another turkey. Like this is that good. Mm-hmm. But again, it takes a lot of planning. You got to have it ahead of time.
What's your favorite pellet?
What's that?
What's your favorite pellet that you're using for that?
I typically a little bit sweeter, so pecan, but still
any apple or
hickory base.
Like
I don't go out if I'm using flavored fruit trees, if you will, like pecan, and it's pecan and cherry, or a mixture of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But number 1, stuffing. I love stuffing.
I like stuffing all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
I love
Depends. It depends on what kind of. There's so many different variations.
Stovetop stuffing.
There you go.
Don't get exotic with the stuffing,
Right?
You know,
right.
but even the homemade crumb, I love it. Homemade breadcrumbs, the homemade, all I'm fine with that. But I don't need like cranberries don't belong in it. You know, some people get crazy.
What about celery?
Yes, add it because celery is part of the Trinity, buddy. So I'm okay with that.
What Trinity are we talking about here?
The Cajun Trinity.
Oh, okay.
So
Bell pepper,
onion, celery.
and celery. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fine with it, but it's cooked down. It's not crunchy. It's cooked.
Now
down.
see that I can get behind.
Yeah.
But I've had some that like a
Sometimes it doesn't get cooked down.
like
It
a
just
church
doesn't
potluck
taste
or
good.
something like
Yeah.
that, and it just you're eating this mushy stuff, and then all of a sudden you get a crunch, and you're like, ugh, what was that?
That shouldn't be in
that-
there.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Now
church
there's some things like that where, you add something in there for a little bit of texture, so everything's not just mush. I get that, but stuffing's just not one of them.
Yeah, actually, my mom made one with just a really good sausage and all kind. I mean, just really really good stuff. I like it. And when I was in college, that'd be a meal for me. It would be like just a box of stovetop.
All right.
Make it with chicken broth.
Oh, anything's better with chicken or beef broth.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt.
I'm a little surprised that stuffing was number one for you.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a take it or leave it with me. Like I just, whatever.
That's fine.
I don't have to have it.
Not everybody has good taste. I'm okay with that.
So, oh man. I've had a lot to think about here.
Examine my decisions
so yeah, because the more we talk, the more of these foods that started coming to mind.
Oh yeah, like the deviled eggs.
Yeah. Like that probably should have made my list. But my number 3 was black olives.
Whatever.
Because we just
whatever. That's not a Thanksgiving side.
It absolutely is.
No, it's not.
We have.
He's just saying that because you hate black olives.
Gross.
So next to the appetizer tray with the summer sausage and all these exotic meats, there's always olives, right? And my whole family, my daughters,
next,
if they get
number 2,
if they get to them before I do, but they all just get gone, right? So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to not use olives, but something that uses olives, and those are pinwheels. You guys know what pinwheels are?
No.
So you basically take a tortilla, white flour tortilla, lay it out, and it's cream cheese, jalapenos, olives, a little bit of cheese, and then you roll it up and cut them. And then when you, then you've got the little pinwheel.
I've seen.
Looks
those.
Oh, it's like a roll.
Yeah. But we call them pinwheels, and I can plow through those, especially after they get taken out of the fridge and they're sitting on the counter for a while and they get to room temperature.
It almost sounded like the 7-layer dip that you make with only 6 layers on one side because you cut the olives out for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's almost kind of like that.
Minus the avocado and bean, refried bean.
Yeah. So
those sound good, man.
But once they get to room temperature and that cheese just starts to get a little warm.
Pinwheel's your number 3, not black olives.
Yeah, but we have black olives in the pinwheel, so I can kind of get the black olive in there.
So, I need that recipe.
Yeah, I mean, and they're so super, and that's literally all it is cream cheese, jalapeno.
Do you chop up the olives and jalapenos before you put them on the flour tortilla?
Yep. So you just kind of chop them all up.
Okay, sprinkle it on there and then roll it up.
Well,
for the jalapenos, you cut them up like this, and then you spread them out over the tortilla.
Well, what you would do is
you cut them up and you put them in the trash can.
you would take your bowl and put all your ingredients in the bowl, mix it all up, and then spread it, and then roll the tortilla, and then slice. Super easy, super good, and we always never have enough because those are always one of the first things gone.
I bet if you sprinkle a little garlic powder in there, it'd be good too.
Yeah, the options are endless.
Knock yourself out,
dude. I'm gonna make something tomorrow.
Yeah,
you could probably make a little, put a little Louisiana hot sauce in there too.
Ooh,
and put a little carpaccio in there as well.
Ooh, I don't know carpaccio going there.
No. Yeah, no.
All right, number 2, green bean casserole.
With the crunchy onions on top?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The fried onions on top.
Yeah.
And I know that's a point of contention because, on a lot of the posts that you see, everybody's like, green bean casserole sucks.
No, it doesn't.
But so you mentioned some of it does. So you mentioned church potluck.
Yep. I've had some terrible green bean casseroles.
And there's typically more than one person that brings green bean casserole to a church potluck.
There's always one that goes first.
Yeah, because there's such a big difference. And sometimes one of them's just didn't get finished.
Well, that's the same thing with stuffing. I mean, there's just different ways to cook it.
Yeah.
So
But I'm with you. Now I will tell you this: once green bean bundles came into the mix, you don't need green bean casserole.
Right.
I love a good green bean casserole. In fact, I miss anything that requires those little onion things. Should get some notice. But you can't have two green bean dishes. And in our family, it's the bundle. It's the bundle.
You can definitely have both. And what's funny about those green bean bundles, as you gentlemen call them,
That's what they're called, bundle. Sorry.
I just call them bacon wrapped green beans, but whatever.
Well, what do you do? How many green beans are wrapped in
a bundle?
You get in your recipe
5.
A bundle of green beans, you mean? Because bacon wrapped green bean could be one wrap of bacon around every green
beans, plural. It means more than one. We went over that with aircraft and aircrafts.
Sure.
But yeah, and actually I learned that recipe from Charisse. I'd never even thought about it. Charisse is kind of my partner there on WWO. Does a lot of work and is a phenomenal cook. And so she's the one I learned that from. So that's why I tried it for those guys for the first time. A big hit too. But I still got to go with the original green bean casserole just because, the way my family, now the difference is on green bean casserole. Do you use the whole green beans or do you use the shredded green beans?
I wouldn't use the shredded.
If I recall, the best one, and I remember where the church I grew up in, both.
There
were
mixture,
shredded and whole.
See, now I don't like the whole. I like the shredded because you get more of the cream of mushroom soup in that flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the whole.
I'm not a fan, but to each their own. It's just one of those.
I might have to try to make some with the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. It's a texture thing for me. I don't know why. Maybe just always growing up, I had the shredded green beans. And number 1, mashed potatoes and gravy.
I almost.
What color's your gravy?
A yellowish brown almost, because we take the fat from the turkey and then make the gravy out of that. So it's just kind of that color.
Okay.
But man, and I still, we have not perfected it in my family the way that my grandmother made it.
Yeah.
Because her gravy was out of this world.
I'm going to ask you a few questions on the mashed potatoes. Are they whipped with an electronic device?
No.
Okay, so they're not.
We don't have like an electronic whipping device.
So you're not taking the.
We take a potato masher.
Yeah.
And mash.
What else is in the potatoes?
Milk.
That's it.
Butter.
Salt. Butter.
Man, I'm about to up your game. You ready?
Yep.
Sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a little bit of that.
Cheese.
Shredded cheese.
Yep.
Now, not pre-packaged shredded, because in order to keep pre-packaged shredded cheese from sticking to itself, they coat that cheese with a wax.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get a block of cheese and you have to shred it yourself, because that'll incorporate into the potato.
See, we're not
so much better.
We're not real fancy at my house.
So much so
all of my cheese is block cheese that we have to shred ourselves.
So, but you won't know. You won't know there's like cheese in it because you mix that in while the potatoes are still really hot, and yeah.
That was almost on my list. Was the 5th grade boys mashed potatoes? Do you know what that is?
No.
So
I've never had boy in my mashed potatoes.
When I was in 5th grade,
a little weird.
Our Sunday school teacher would have all of us over, and his wife would cook for us, and she would make brisket and mashed potatoes.
I'm liking where it's going.
And other things. And these mashed potatoes that she made, we thought they were like blessed from God above and came from heaven because they were so good.
Yeah.
And So she named when she I think she got asked to put something in a cookbook. She put her recipe for the mashed potatoes in the cookbook and called it 5th grade boys mashed potatoes.
Oh, no way.
Because we like put her on a pedestal
Yeah.
because of these mashed potatoes. So yeah, Hollywood, if you're listening, thank you
Yeah, her
for
name
those mashed potatoes.
is Holly, and she married a guy with the last name of Wood.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
so her name's Hollywood. She makes the best mashed potatoes on the planet.
Yeah,
So-
I'm going to try those out.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with what Ashley does. I mean, I like those. We have them quite a bit.
And
But
it
then
might
they're
be, Ashley might have been the
And
one
off-
that asked her to put.
Authentic gravy is fantastic as well.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to, previously, before my whole issue with whether it's gluten or whatever it is, but my grandmother made rolls, like homemade rolls.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that would have been my number one
If you could still eat.
if I could still eat them.
Yeah.
But taking that piping hot roll that's homemade and dipping it in those mashed potatoes and gravy. Oh,
Yeah.
I might just go get sick.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Like that lactose guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to risk it, boys.
I'm going in.
Wait, don't you lactose? I'm risking it.
But yep, so that's my number one, mashed potatoes and gravy. Because then even when you have like the cream corn or the green bean casserole and you mix it into the mashed potatoes and gravy, oh, it's so good.
You keep your cream corn.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Yeah. It's not a Thanksgiving thing for like that's not something that gets corn casserole. Yes, but not cream corn
corn casseroles.
or just ever regular corn, but not cream corn. That doesn't belong at Thanksgiving, in my opinion.
Corn critters. Corn critters.
Fritters.
The fritters.
Fritters.
Yeah. The critters. Those are
We got
mice.
those little corn critters.
Where are them little corn critters at? Let me have some of
I'm
them.
getting ready to go shoot some of those here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, back when
Yeah.
last fish fry I was at, we had instead of hush puppies, we had
Fritters.
yeah, it was really good.
Those are
So
good.
how why are you just against cream corn? Like what?
Well, everything that we've talked about from a food perspective on Thanksgiving stays in its own place on your plate. Your green bean bundle is wrapped in bacon and in a bundle. Your gravy, if you're not an animal, is you make a place with the mashed potato spoon after you put it on your plate.
and you pour the gravy in.
You have a place for your gravy.
I get that, yeah.
What else did we talk about? Pinwheels, deviled eggs. Cream corn doesn't keep to itself on your plate. It propagates into
So
the
does
other.
that gravy when you get your first bite of mashed potatoes. It runs over the side and
Well,
floods
here's
the
the
plate.
thing. Gravy that runs into some cheese grits, that's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a great thing, but it's not a bad thing. Corn cream doesn't belong on a deviled egg. Like that can't happen.
I don't
Like,
know. I guess I don't know what type of what is the cream in your corn, I guess.
That is just, it's fluid. And that fluid, the fluids are,
But what is the fluid made of?
I don't know. The only fluid that
Fifth grade
belongs
boys?
on a Thanksgiving plate, the only fluid that belongs on a Thanksgiving plate is gravy. That's the only one. And it should be thick enough where it's just not like everywhere. But you put creamed corn, you get creamed corn on a like a Chinette paper plate, you know, the thick, like a big family meal, then that thing's just soggy and you can't even use that for seconds.
I guess we use cream cheese for cream corn.
corn's always runny at
It's runny.
any kind I've ever
Yeah,
had.
ours is never runny.
Well, I just hadn't had your cream corn, so I may be a little too harsh on my shoot down of your.
Yeah, you might want to try it because it's not.
I'm
it's
not gonna try it for Thanksgiving.
No, I don't like because the type you're talking about I've had before at church potlucks.
Well, they have cream corn in a can. There's cream corn in a can.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
yeah, no.
That's
No.
like real runny.
No, this is homemade where you put the corn in, put the cream cheese in a crock pot, and then it melts, little salt, pepper, butter, and then scoop it out and it's almost like the consistency of mashed potatoes with corn in it, which is awesome. By the way, I love just mixing corn.
I
and
may have
mashed
tried
potatoes.
that sometime, but
it is. Yeah, it's not.
If it's liquidy,
No.
It's out.
No.
It's
I
out.
don't. No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't do that. Would
I
be
can't
bad.
believe you didn't bring up Bing cherry salad.
Because I hate it. And you know that. Oh,
I don't even know what that is.
It's a southern Jello dish dessert. It's so gross.
Gelatinous.
And my whole family loves it.
It's a gelatinous, Jello molded thing with nuts, Coke,
Walnuts, Coca-Cola is in there.
Bing cherries.
That's why it's called Bing cherry salad.
Little marshmallows, or
I
is
don't
that
know.
some kind of a cheesy? There's stuff in it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something that I would eat. But on that, real quick, because it's not on our top 3 favorite. Just your favorite dessert, Thanksgiving dessert.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have time to think about this, Matt.
It depends. I like having pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving,
Oh yeah,
but if you put a pumpkin pie and a pecan pie with your grand's recipe,
oh that pecan pie is
I'm going to get the pecan pie.
every day.
And I'll just have to come back later for if you're doing pumpkin pie, you got to have like some kind of a Cool Whip or some,
Cool
whip topping.
Cool Whip.
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 That's hilarious. So I don't know.
Yeah. My first thought was pie too. Just any pie. At Granny's house, they would clear off the dining room table, the round one in that round room, and load it with pie after we all ate
pies.
dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like all different kinds of pies. So that's what I always remember. Just it's always pie.
How about you?
Before my issue, pecan pie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could. That by far my favorite. But I think this year, because my mother-in-law is pretty renowned for. Oh my gosh, and I can't even think of the name of the pie.
Rhubarb,
Nope.
strawberry,
Nope.
lemon,
Nope.
Marmalade.
key lime,
Oh, I just had it, and then you just took it away from me.
Lemon icebox.
Snicker,
No, it's got cream cheese.
cheesecake,
Cheesecake. Thank you.
That's
It's not pie.
cheesecake pie.
Cheesecake.
But it is in a pie dish.
But it's a pie, yeah.
Pie slices.
Yeah.
But I think that's one I can handle, and hers is really smooth, and it's super good. So I think
Yeah.
I might go with that. But I also like pumpkin pie. I don't know.
Yeah. A spicy pumpkin pie. Like one that's got a
little kick.
Yeah.
Or, just some really high-end vanilla ice cream with
Cheesecake.
nectarine moonshine in it.
Oh, there you go.
That's for after dinner when it's time for everybody to go and you're just like, I wish everybody.
This is how we stay together. All right. Well, thank you for your top 3. Troy,
Yes.
man, we've got a good word.
Yeah. So the good word on Thanksgiving is thankful.
Shocker.
Shocker. It's a good day
Where
to
did he pull that one?
just look at things and just be thankful for all the things that God has given you and all the things that you have. Yeah. So I wanted to read Psalms 100, which is a psalm for giving thanks. So make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. So there's plenty to be thankful for, and there's plenty to thank people for.
No, absolutely. And that should be our spirit, at this time of year.
Yeah.
Is to just kind of step back and look at what we have that we did not create for us and be thankful for.
I definitely think that we should take more than one day,
Well, yeah.
and we ought to integrate thankfulness into our daily life
I agree.
and use Thanksgiving as the model for that, where we're around family and friends. And even though it may not be the best of times sometimes with mud daubers taking over roasting pans and catching on fire and ovens not working and, you know, all the little things that families have, you know, between each other. I think, you know, we take that one day a year and we force ourselves to get along and typically have a pretty good time at it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's, you know, watching the football games after dinner or, you know, whatever it is, but spend that time with your family, being thankful for them. You know, how about we do that for our neighbors and everybody else all year round?
Yeah. I like it.
All right. Well, we are very thankful that you are listening to our podcast.
We are thankful for our listeners.
Yes, very, very
Yes,
much
we
so.
are.
So thank you for tuning in today. We really do appreciate it every time you listen. I mean, you're taking time out of your day to spend with us, and we're very appreciative of that.
And if you have bought one of these spectacular hard-headed T-shirts or
Which-
any other apparel,
By the way, very comfortable, great material. Not the cheap T-shirt that some people are scared about getting when you buy something online.
yeah, if you've bought one, please share it on our Facebook page. We'd love to see the merchandise
Merch in the wild.
out there in the wild.
All right. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll see you next week. I'm so hungry now.
I like good food.
You're eating it right now, Chet. Remember?
As I listen to this podcast.
What time is it? What is our future selves doing right now? Oh, I'm definitely in a food coma.
Yeah.